Okay, pardon the mess on my bench here. The question came up about changing the bolt in a Desert Eagle. When you go to change the caliber, you can switch between a 44 and a 50. Pretty easy. You just pull off the barrel, put on your other barrel. They use the same bolt. Lock the locking latch back into place and you're good to go. Use the right magazine, nothing to it. To release the barrel, you got to push the button, hit the latch right here. Now, if you want to shoot a 357, you're going to need to put the different bolt in, because the bolt face is different on 357. It's the same on the 44 and 50. So, to do that, you're going to want to remove the barrel, and then remove the slide, which doesn't want to come off today. There we go. Take out your springs, all that good stuff. Take out your piston just so you don't drop it. Now you're going to want to use your handy dandy Desert Eagle tool that should have come with the gun. And you're going to use the end of it to depress the end of the firing pin. And with that in, you can slide the firing pin stop back. You're going to want to keep a finger or something here so the firing pin doesn't go launching itself out under spring pressure. Then you can remove the firing pin. Make sure you get that spring out there with it too. Now take your handy dandy tool again, and there's this retaining pin right here. You can kind of see it. With the end of your pin, you can hook it under there, pull it straight up and out, just like that. That will release your bolt in there. Did you see that? This little piston thing next to your bolt. It's a bolt catch. It'll sometimes launch itself. That's why you don't necessarily want to do this out at the range, because you launch that and you can't find it out in the dirt, then you're done for the day. So you pull the spring out, pull that little piston out, and now the bolt comes all the way out. No problem. And you can see the bolt head, the bolt face is a little bit different. 357 is a little smaller than the 44 and the 50. And they are even marked as such. I don't know if you can see that, 357 on that one. And somewhere on here, I've got a 44. 44 and the 50 are the same, as noted. So now to put it back together, you do it all the same in reverse. You're going to want to put your spring back in. Notice there's this little scallop cut out right here to go in your hole there. So when you slide that in, that scallop's got to be lined up so your bolt can slide past it. Bolt goes in, the extractor goes on the what would be the right hand side. You're going to want to pull this up and out a bit so you can slide this guy in. There's a hole in the end of it, so you can get it onto your spring. Goes down into that hole, and then your bolt comes down on top of it. You're going to want to hold that in place with your finger because there's that spring pressure there. Now as you move that bolt back and forth, you can kind of see you got to line up the notch in your bolt with that little hole right there. You see it? So once that notch is lined up, you can take your retaining pin again, drop it down in there, and if it doesn't quite go, again, whoop, there you go. Launch that little piece. That's what you got to watch out for. So we'll put it back on and try again. You may need to rotate the bolt just a little bit too to get that hole to line up correctly. This guy should just go right in there. There we go. And there's kind of a step to it, so you're going to want to make sure that lines up with the rest of the underside of the bolt there. And that's it. Bolt is installed. Take your spring and your firing pin, put them back in. They only go all the way in one way. And if you're, there you go. The little pin is rotated a little bit. You got to make sure that's all the way straight, or the firing pin won't go in. And if it doesn't push in all the way, again, I got it backwards. There you go, try it like that. Hey, all the way. What do you know? Now push it in, take your firing pin stop, get the part way in to where it catches that shoulder. Use your tool to push the rest of the way in. Snaps into place. There you go. I now have a working 44 bolt in the slide. And then of course you reassemble the thing just like how you had done it every time to field strip and clean this thing. I'll usually put the piston in first and the springs and kind of hold them in place like that. Slide things together, get the springs lined up, make sure they go into their slot. Now select the correct barrel. In this case, we now have the 50, and you're good to go. Hope that helps.